Alrighty guys, we are back for another knife review. Today we are going to be talking about the Spyderco Byrd Cara Cara 2 line. Great knife, great knife. So before we get to talking about that though, and FYI, I have been carrying my Rat 1 since I got it the other day, and I am loving this knife. There will be a review coming. As you can see, there's junk on the blade already because I've been using it to open a bunch of boxes and just do random tasks with. Loving this knife so far. Review will be coming. But we talk about knives, we talk about guns, we all have collections, we all spend a lot of money on collector pieces here and there, and I'm the same. But most of the time, I don't have money to be spending $200, $300, $400 on one knife that I'm going to be carrying and using. So kind of my big thing here with this YouTube channel, the Southern Republic, is I really want to talk about knives and gear where we're going to get the most bang for our buck. Maybe it's not the super name brand gear, but maybe there's other makers out there, and I have a lot of stuff from, you know, off brands and things like that where I think it's just as good as some of the really expensive stuff, and it's stood up, you know, to me beating the crap out of it a couple times. So I want to talk about that, you know, getting the most out of our money, you know, with everything we buy, and that's really going to be the point of it. So I think I'm going to do a series of videos on knives where we're going to get the most value from the lowest cost, and I'm going to start that series with the Byrd Cara Cara 2. And I love this knife. I do carry it a lot. I haven't been carrying it lately because I've been carrying other stuff, but this knife is just absolutely fantastic in my opinion. I really do enjoy this knife. You can see the nice shiny handle because I cleaned it the other day. There are a few things about it that I have issues with, but then again, no knife is going to be perfect. If there was a perfect knife, there would only be one knife made. We'd all have that one knife. So there's always give and take, plus and minuses about everything. So let's just kind of go down the line here and talk about this guy. Open him up here. And we'll just start with the general specs of for the knife. So let's talk about the size. The overall length from tip to tip is 8.5 inches. The close length, so the handle length, is 4.75 inches with a blade that is 3.75 inches. Now, the actual cutting area on this blade is only 3.188 inches. You can see here, bring that up here. You've got this nice extra finger choil, so when you're holding this, you don't have to just hold it with the handle. If you really need to choke up on that, to do some finer tasks, or if you got to kind of get in there and do some cutting, you can choke up a little bit, but still have the advantage of having a bigger blade. So that is nice. It does cut down a little bit on your cutting area, but not enough that it's really going to bother me. I mean, this is still, you still have 3.1 inches of cutting surface, even with this extra finger choil, and there are other things about the reason having that I really do like, so we'll get to those in a minute. Let's see here. It does have the modified spider hole, the Byrd spider hole, as you can see. I think the whole point of this was it looks like a bird. Alright, sorry, bad bird sound. But it is a 12 millimeter hole as opposed to the 13 that you see on most Spyderco blades. But that doesn't really affect it any way, shape, or form. Just like most Spyderco blades, and I'll see if you can even see that in there, that phosphor bronze washers around the pivot point, that gives it that nice snap out that all Spydercos have, which is one of the reasons that we love them. Alright, so let's talk about the blade steel. This is, as you can see right here, see if I can get it to focus. Come on. There we go. 8CR13 MOV. Obviously, it even says Byrd. BYRD. So, the 8CR13 MOV, it is a Chinese steel. It's made with a Rockwell hardness of 56 to 58. And that's, serious steel right there. I mean, 8CR13 MOV is nothing to shake a stick at. It is a lower price steel, but I still think it's a great steel, and it's comparable to AUS 8. So we pay more to buy blades made here in America. And again, if you prefer only to buy blades made here in the US, right on. Way to support our economy. That's fantastic. Sometimes we want a good blade, but we can't afford, $100 and something where we could get a blade that's got an equal steel quality for less money. So that's kind of really what I like about it. Now, the blade, is pretty typical of the Spyderco, and this is actually a very comparable knife to one that is probably more than double its price, the Endura 4. So I'll pop that in there because I have one. I love that knife too. I'll talk about this one in a later video. But if you really look, this is pretty much the same knife. I mean, you can see a little bit more of a curve here on the front of the Byrd as you do on that one. It's a little bit straighter. It's a little bit more of an obvious curvature in the blade. Handle is pretty much the same both ways. A little bit more pronounced rear finger choil here where you're kind of gripping in as you do on the Endura 4. You can see it comes to a little more of a point here. This one's a little bit more rounded. This one is a little bit more beveled right here as opposed to this, for the deployment hole. And, give and take. Same back locking, mechanism. Similar blade shapes. Both blades are full flat ground, so you're getting that on both of them either way. This one, I said, is more than double the price of this guy. So, all right, well, we'll come back to you. Close. Moving, all right. All right, so speed. The Byrds are great. Bam. I mean, that comes out nice and fast every time, except when I don't do it right, but every time. Just like the Endura 4 does every time. So that's great. Lock up in strength. So when you pop that, you hear that locks. It's in there. I'm pushing down pretty good on that. No blade play side to side, just a little bit, but I've been beating this one up. Up and down, nothing. You got that back locking mechanism. So you can see here, it's similar to the triad lock as the, let's see. You can see the groove there where this drops into as you go back. That drops right in and locks in solid. Handle material. This is not G10. This is FRN, which stands for fiberglass reinforced nylon. It does have the bi-directional grooving in it. So as you can see, these, as you pull back, you feel them. As you pull back, you feel them. So when you're in there, you really lock right into that bad boy. There really is, it's got jimping. Let's see if we can see it. Right here, kind of notched into the handle. And you definitely, if you're on there, your thumb will lock into that. But the nice thing about it is you got this nice jimping right here on the thumb ramp and right here on the finger choil. So you really lock into this blade, which I think is excellent for the price point. The ergonomics of it, like I said, I love the handle. I think it fits in my hand great. I have big hands. So blades like this fit me perfectly. If you have smaller hands, you may want to go with, there are some other versions. Forget what I think it's the, I'll annotate it, I can't think of the name of it, but the one that's slightly smaller than this, the Meadowlark, that's it. Meadowlark is the one that's smaller than this, which is, it's very similar to the Delica 4s. So this one is very comparable to your Enduras. The Meadowlark 2, maybe, I don't know if that's what it's called, is more comparable to your Delica 4. So if you have a smaller hand, you may want a slightly smaller blade. If you like having the big blade, I think this is excellent. Clip design, you do have that very traditional Spyderco clip. Looks just like the Enduras. This one's silver. This one happened to be black. It does not have the Spyder logo on here like this one does. But it's got the exact same setup. It is right-handed or left-handed, tip up or tip down, either way. So it's truly ambidextrous, which is excellent. When it comes to the durability of this knife, I beat this knife up constantly, and I've never had any problems with it. I've had this knife for probably well over a year now, and for a good amount of time, this was my everyday carry. And I beat this thing up. I've had buddies borrow it and use it and beat it up. I've had to occasionally, just had to tighten that up to get rid of a little blade play after some hard use, but no real issues with it. So I think, all in all, this is an excellent value knife. I think I got this online with shipping. I paid less than $25. I'm pretty sure this was an Amazon purchase. Less than $25. This bad boy, however, on Amazon as well, with shipping, I paid a little over $60. So $20.60. So 3 times more expensive to have this one as opposed to this guy. So when we're talking about bang for our buck, this is truly what I'm talking about. Goodbye. So like I said, guys, value for our dollars. The Spyderco Byrd Cara Cara 2 gets 2 big old thumbs up from the Southern Republic. Alright guys, as always, until next time, Semper Fi brothers. You guys have yourself an excellent weekend. Have money to be spending $200, $300, $400 on one knife that I'm going to be carrying and using. So kind of my big thing here with this YouTube channel, the Southern Republic, is I really want to talk about knives, and loving this knife so far. Review will be coming. But we talk about knives, we talk about guns, we all have collections, we all spend a lot of money on collector pieces here and there, and I'm the same. But most of the time, I don't. Alrighty guys, we are back for another knife review. Today we are going to be talking about the Spyderco Byrd Cara Cara 2 line. Great knife, great knife. So before we get to talking about that though, and FYI, I have been carrying my Rat 1 since I got it the other day, and I am loving this knife. There will be a review coming. As you can see, there's junk on the blade already because I've been using it to open a bunch of boxes and just do random tasks with.